Alright, welcome back to Dale Kramer's Custom Cars and any frickin' thing you frickin' think of. Well, today I thought I'd start working with the brakes. So I thought we'd run lines and stuff. So that way we can put the body on it tomorrow. For good. So my brother's coming, so he should be here soon. I'll introduce you to him, the owner of this car. And right now, why don't I put you guys on pause? I'm gonna get my stuff out here. But basically, I'll explain what we're gonna do here. Alright, now, since the master cylinder is going to be in the floor, now what will happen is that the master cylinder is either at or lower than your calipers and your drums in the back. So now what will happen is you'll step on the brakes and then you'll release them, then the fluid wants to run back to the reservoir. So how do you stop that? Okay, well, first of all, we want the wheel wood. Okay. Yep, okay. So now we bought residual valves. Okay? What the residual valves do, it's a one-way valve. It allows pressure to go one way, but it doesn't allow it to come back. Okay? So now drum brakes, they require 10 psi. Okay? So the fluid don't come back. And the disc brakes in the front require 2 psi. Okay? I only buy Willwood stuff because the problem is when you buy those cheap knockoffs that are on Evo Bay, like Derek would say, they leak. They're actually like a metric thread, and then people saying they're doubling all the stuff on here. Well, if you got to double the goop on here to make it stop leaking, throw them away. Buy Willwood. All there is are knockoffs. They're knockoffs from Willwoods. And they say that they stop like Barbie dolls and Nike shoes and containers. Well, if you go on eBay, everything's all China knockoffs. So buy the genuine thing. Because on Evo Bay it says for Willwood. So when you punch in Willwood because you want the best, then those come up and they say, oh look, they're only $8. Willwood's 35. Well, buy the Willwood ones. Okay? So anyway, yeah, so this reservoir location, now, like I said, you gotta have, these are one-way valves. They allow pressure to go to the brakes, but, you know, for the fronts, it allows 2 psi to hold in the line. Okay, 2 psi, where it doesn't activate the brakes at 2 psi. In the back, for the drums, now that's 10 psi because the brakes, they have springs on them and all that stuff for going back, so they can go at 10 psi. But if you're running 4 drums, then you want to run 10 psi. If you're running 4 discs, then you want to run 2 psi. Okay? So again, it allows fluid to go one way, but then it allows fluid to come back, but it leaves 2 psi in the line, so that way the line is still full for the next time when you got a break, not that it all ran back to the master cylinder. I hope you guys understand that. I think you do. Okay, so we got to run the 2 psi for the front and the 10 for the back. We've got drum in the back, disc in the front. Okay, so now another key is when you install these, they go in one direction. It says in and out. In from the master cylinder, out to the wheel. Then another thing, so they're a one directional thing, so you got to pay attention that you don't put these in backwards, or you'll step on the brakes and it'll be hard as hell and you won't have no brakes. Okay? So, and another thing, when you install these, don't install them up here on top. What you want to do is you want to get them as close to the master cylinder as you can install them, but as even to the ports. Because if you got to install, like for example, if you got to install this guy, let's say, I'm thinking I'm gonna install it something like this. Okay, right about in this position. Okay, well that says out, so this is backwards already. So, but anyway, so I'm thinking right here. So, but I want to keep it as level as I can with this, because this little area here, this fluid, now if you put this up here more, this fluid's going to come back into the master cylinder, and then all of a sudden you got to pump it up to get this pressurized to get it back to the residual valve. The valve's going to be holding 10 psi back, so it's going to be full from here to the brakes, but then this little area is going to want to come back. Because actually technically your back, this is for your back brakes, this port here, this is for your front. Okay? That's your front. So that's got to go to the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to install this thing as close as I can to level here, you know. But I got to keep it out of the way. I got to make sure later I got room here for exhaust pipe. Don't want these sitting on the exhaust at all. You actually want at least 2, 3, 4 inches of clearance. You know, I usually go at least 3 inches. But I was gonna, for the front port, I was gonna run it like this into the residual valve right here, and then run it this way and up a little bit and along the frame rail. But then I got exhaust here for the tight fit header, so it's got to go back under the frame and then shoot up to the T. There'll be a T up front. Now, another thing. Now, on your front brakes, I run a pressure valve. And you're wondering, what the hell is this? Well, this is a switch. It's for your brake lights. Turns your brake lights on and off. So when it applies hydraulic pressure in the line, this thing presses up and it crosses this. Positive comes in, positive goes out. So then it turns on your brake lights. So you have brake lights later on. So you got to tee this in there, you know. So what I do is I tee this to the front brakes. Okay. So where are we going to put that? Well, maybe right after the residual valve, like here or something, maybe. Okay. Now another thing you need is called a proportioning valve. This is another thing. They got knockoffs on Evo Bay. Same thing. For Willwood, it'll say direct from China, it says. Because then the guys that want to buy a Willwood one, then they see that, oh my God, it's only $10. This is like $40 or something. Don't buy them. Now this is a proportioning valve. This goes on the rear brakes. Because what will happen if you don't have this and you step on the brakes to miss that deer, or somebody stops in front of you really fast, it'll lock up your brakes otherwise. So so what you do is when you put this in, there's this little pressure knob on here that you turn. And you can adjust it so that way the brakes don't lock up. Go out, and as soon as the car is done, take it for a ride, find yourself a safe spot to do this, to do a quick stop. And do a quick stop like you're trying to stop for a deer or some kid that ran out the road or something, you know. Do a quick stop and see if the brakes lock up. If you do, you know, then you got to adjust your pressure accordingly, either more or less. If it don't stop fast enough, then I think you screw this out and it applies more pressure. But it says on the handle, but I can't read it right now. Too much glare. Can't remember if it's in more pressure or out or whatever, but anyway, you can read it. Because if it applies more pressure to the back, well, it means the brakes are going to activate a lot faster, you know. So you need this too. And this, where I mount this, you might ask, well, where do you mount it? Well, what I do is I mount it on I try to mount it on the side of the frame rail, like this, sort of. So you reach underneath the car and turn the knob. But yet, you got to watch out because if you got mufflers here, you know. I think the mufflers will be back here a little bit. So I think we got room here to, we'll mount it somewhere here. Transmission cross member goes through here. So this is where that's going to go. So somewhere in this general vicinity, somewhere. Got to keep it away from the transmission cross member. But yet we got to watch for the muffler area. We always got to keep in mind there's a drive shaft that goes through here, a transmission cross member, a muffler, a pipe for the muffler, exhaust pipe. So we got to keep that in mind where things are going to go, you know. And I run all my wiring. Some guys run their wiring for the car along the frame rail. I don't. I run it through the floor inside the car. When you got your wiring hanging all your, I've seen Streetrods where wiring is hanging and it's like, wow, you can burn the car down yet, or it doesn't work, or what, you know. So I like to keep my wiring inside the car. Just run the external wiring to the headlights and to the horn and to the engine, and then, you know, then the taillights are usually mounted on the body somewhere. So, but yeah, so this is a proportion valve. This is very important. You know, the factory in cars, they had them up by the master cylinder or just below the master cylinder when it was mounted on the firewall. You know, then it was below it. But this is adjustable. This is what you want. And spend the money. Willwood's #1. I don't get nothing for endorsing them. Wish people would recognize that, but I'm endorsing their product right now. Not getting no kickbacks, no nothing. We get nothing. But I just want to make sure buy #1, you know. But there's other companies in the United States. Don't buy nothing from China. Make sure. But so to top it off, I would just go Willwood. That's it. No knockoffs. You buy them knockoffs, trust me, you're gonna have issues. I bought a knockoff one from my Challenger, you know, in that Challenger build. If you look at my other videos, I bought one of those $8 knockoff ones. They look identically the same, but boy, are they piss poor. The threads are all galwood. It leaks on each side. You're putting thread tape on there like crazy, trying to get it to stop, and then finally I ripped it out and bought a Willwood one and stopped immediately. So I swear, you know, buy Willwood equipment only. So yeah, we gotta kind of plan this out how we're gonna do this. You know, I got that transmission cross member here. So, and I need the brake light switch. Sometimes I'll put the brake light switch up here, but I could face it down. I usually put them up here, usually. Maybe that's where I should go with it. I'll just face it downward or something. But see, you gotta remember, if this thing ever goes to hell on you, you know, there's going to be a body on here. You got to do everything from underneath. So you got to think about how am I going to get to it. You know, you can't mount it on the master cylinder, otherwise you got to rip it all apart. You know? No, I like it right here actually, but well, is there enough room to mount it there? Because I got to bend it like this. Remember, this goes off the front brake, so it has to go off this port. This is the front brake port. It's just, you got to remember, this is reversed. So think reversed. If this was on the firewall mounted, you know, then this would be forward to the front brakes. Now we got it backwards because we got it on the floor. And by the way, this is a Mopar Master Cylinder. A lot of people try to sell you these, you know, and they want a lot of money for them. And this is just for a Dodge truck. I think like a 91 or so. Oh no, earlier than that. Earlier than that. Way earlier. It's like 80, 84 or something like that actually. Dodge truck. Because that way you get the flat reservoir. So it holds a lot of fluid and it's flat. You can get them for Dodge Caravan too. But then the thing is, they got the smaller bore piston inside, and then they also got the angled tank because it sits at an angle. You know, well, if it's on the firewall, it's sitting like this, but reversed. You know, so you gotta. So yeah, so that's. There's a piece of slag melted in there. I hope it didn't melt through it. Oh, that'd be my luck. I hope not. Son of a couple of them. There's another one. Well, we'll find out fast, won't we? I was tacking the floor in. I had to have this in there dummy to make sure it was going to fit. So end up with stuff like that. I should have had a wet rig on top of it. Next time I'll do that. See, I learn my lessons all the time. I think that should be mounted like right there. Just like that. 45 it maybe. Yeah, 45 it so you can run the line, 45 it into this end. And you can run it out. Brake residual valve here. So you gotta plan this out. Now some people use thread tape on there, and I use the yellow stuff. I put a little bit of yellow tape on there. I don't use the brush on shit, because I think that brush on shit will get in the holes and shit. And it's only 1/8 inch line, you know. It's only 1/8 inch hole. You clog that up, or you get that in line, you're screwing yourself. So I use thread tape. The yellow stuff. It's the gas resistant tape and the petroleum and, you know, the corrosive junk, you know, like brake fluid is. I think we're going to try to mount it right there. And what'll hold it actually will be the clips, you know, brake line clips. God, you know what? See, this is me. I'm always changing my mind. You guys probably noticed that several times, that I changed my mind quite a bit. But it's called engineering. I'm trying to find the best way to do things. Now I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing I got to put a brake line clip, or I got to put a fastener here. And I got to have the residual valve here, and everything's got to be as high as this. You know, so now I'm thinking, excuse me, I'm having an anxiety attack. And we want it in this general vicinity. Like I say, normally I put it up here. Then I run it off the transmission harness. So when I build my harness for the neutral safety switch and the reverse light harness, then I incorporate the wire for this too. And it just jumps over from the tranny and plugs into this. It's called planning. You gotta plan. You gotta plan this shit out. Your stuff, I mean stuff. You gotta plan the stuff out. Like the residual valve, like, okay, for the back brakes, the line's gonna come, proportioning valve's gonna be somewhere in this area, line's gonna come to the proportioning valve, and it's gotta shoot this way into this port. So that's easy. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Front port. Front brakes. Proportioning valve here. Have it loop 90 out, 90 back in the proportioning valve. I want the two proportioning valves side by side if I can do that, which I don't know if I can yet. You can put the proportioning valve back here if you want, but then this line has to remain level. But then the problem is the transmission cross member is here. After the proportioning valve, you can run that uphill all day you want, but you gotta have it level to the proportioning valve, and then after that you can go uphill. Because you don't want this line between the proportioning valve and the master cylinder to drain back to the master cylinder. Otherwise you're sitting there, you gotta pump the brakes up to make them work all the time. A lot of guys, they call me and they say they have problems with their brakes, you know. And then I ask them to take pictures, and then I can see right away they got the proportioning valve way back here, it's way up high. And I'm saying, well, all this fluid runs back to the master, and then when you check it too, you think it's full, but the liner's empty, and then it's just a mess. So keep your proportioning valves as close as you can, you know, to the master cylinder. But yet, you know, you gotta have room for the transmission, and you gotta run this. I'd like to have this all right here if possible. God, I don't see that happening though, guys. Unless I get more pipe fittings. Then I gotta change this all. I think we're gonna put this up here. If we ever gotta change it, we can reach up in there and get it. We're gonna run it right there. We're gonna put this here. Got enough. Let's screw it on. So, suppose we should get to it, huh? Yeah. This will go back here like that. And then yeah, I love Willwood stuff. Man, I tell you, I just love it. And the blue one will go there, and the red one will go here. This one goes to the back brakes. The blue one, the 2 psi blue, goes to the front. 10 psi purple, or whatever you call this thing, violet or purple or something, goes to the back. So, yeah, that Willwood, eh? They know what they're doing. I'll tell you that right now. They know what the heck's up. So let's drop the brand new safety glasses on the concrete so they go to heck right away. Okay, front one. Low short line to the proportioning valve. Okay, I'm going to put you guys on pause here in a minute, and then I'm going to get some lines out. I'm going to check my lines, and we might have to make some, and that's okay. I want to start, I'm going to lay this out a little bit, and then I'll explain some more stuff and as we're installing it. Okay? We want to make sure everything's tight, you know. See, I mean, the Willwood ones, they come with that nice stuff on there already, that PTF tape, whatever it's called, that comes on there. But that comes on there because it has to screw into the aluminum block, okay? Now on these, they're compressed fittings. You don't use tape on them, not on compressed fittings. But here, I gotta put yellow tape on, and I have none. I just ran out, so I have to go to town and get some, but that's fine. I can just screw this in later and tighten it up. I could still install it and everything, but I just won't tighten it up. So that's officialized. It's gonna go right there. That goes there, and this goes here. Ooh, I must have money coming in. My left hand is itching. So I'm going to put you guys on pause. We're going to come around. But you always just got to remember those residual valves, at least two of the residual valves closest to the master cylinder as possible. And they should be level with the ports that come out of the master cylinder. Or at least super close. And then after that, like I said, you can go uphill. You can go anywhere. Oh, I should have had you guys zoomed in. Well, that was dumb. Well, hopefully you guys got it. Alright, here we go. Let's see, what are we doing next? We are going to put the... I don't know where my white scissors went. I bet that fell down below everything. I always look in there, make sure there's no machine shavings in there. Don't put it in the vise with a bar, just kind of, oh, what the heck? Wow, I goofed up, guys. I grabbed the wrong size wrench. All right. Good enough. And you don't have to wheel on these either. You'll feel when they're tight. Okay, that's one. Go for number two right away. Make sure these are set up, huh? So anyway, I'd like to just talk to you guys about my brother was here tonight. He's really happy with the car. I'm happy for him. I told him when the car gets done, it's going to be hard to let go. Kind of in love with it, but with the car, but unfortunately, it's not mine. So, and that's fine. I got cars. Okay. Now we got the residual valves figured out. Now, oh. Let's see if we can get you in closer. Let's do that for a while. How's that sound? Okay, now these fittings here on the master cylinder don't require any tape on them either. They're inverted. I suppose I probably don't have the right size for this one. Right. Or do I? Oh, I do. Perfect. I'll tighten her up right away. Okay. Now they're inverted. They have a triangle on the master cylinder. Then they're notched out so it rests up against it. So we don't need to use tape on that either. Now we're going to start out by. Now remember this master cylinder is reversed. Normally it sits on the firewall the opposite direction. The front one goes to the front brakes and the back one went to the back brakes. Well, now this is reversed. So now the front one, well, you know, get the picture. Okay. Now I still got the master cylinder loose because I got to, later on I'll have to put the pedal in once the body's on. Now, wait, we're doing the back. See, I was screwed up already. Now the front, this one goes to the front brakes. So this one has disc brakes. So it requires a 2 PSI one, residual. Now it says out there and in there. Okay? So in, the brake fluid's going in from the master cylinder. And then it's going out, But what we're going to do is, now we're going to face wellwood down. So basically, if you're underneath the car, you can read that. You want to make it so you can read it underneath the car. Because you got to remember, later on the body will be on here, and then you can't read it. Oh, darn it, I did it again. I'll just snug that up for now. We'll tighten that up more later. Now again, we'll try, well here, see, already got it off. But See how I got the residual valve even with the, because anything after this residual valve, now there's going to be fluid's going to want to come back, but it's going to leave 2 psi in the line from here to the front brakes. Now, if this is level with this fluid ain't going to roll back into this because this is higher than that. That's a lot of guys, when they call me, they tell me that. They said they got to pump it twice before they get pressure. Well, then when they send me pictures, I see this is higher, way up here sometimes. I said, well, your problem is right here, because this is too high. Okay? And then now, let's measure this and see if we can get a line. Because next step I want to put in is this key for this. I have to get a measuring device here. So let's see, I want it to come up at an angle and then through here to about somewhere in this general vicinity. So at a straight shot, we got 13, 14, 15, 16, maybe 17-inch piece. So we got one over here. Okay. It looks like I have to make one. So let's put the camera up a little bit. I'll sit in that chair and I'll make one quick. I need one 17 inches. looks like I got it right there, don't I? Okay. Hopefully I'm still on the camera. Okay. 17 and 10. Let's cut this. Make sure that that's on the right side. Let's go. I should have grabbed the back marker right away, which I did not. 17. Right there. I should have grabbed another color too anyway. Okay. Where is that? Here it is. Okay, good. Okay. Oh, before we start planning this, let's make sure we put this knot on here, right? Like right there. Let's grab this. And I'll just clean this up a little bit. Go through. Okay. Ends are on there. I'm going to set up our tool, don't we? Set that across there. I bought this tool off of Schematic, and I really like it. It's a nice bubble flare, really nice. Always make sure both your things are on the right direction too. So we have this in there. It indicates where it's got to go. Shove this in there. If you can. There you go. Till it butts up against the stop. You have that screwed in there. Okay. You crank these back down again. Make sure that you keep that thing. This is tightened by hand. And this is butted up against this thing. That's the gauge. That's what. I wish these were like wing nuts on here or something, but I don't know if you get it tight enough. I don't know. Look through the hole. Looks good anyway. It's my first one I'm doing in the evening, so you gotta screw it up, you know. And tighten these up until they stop. Okay. I'm trying to remember how to use this thing now. I'm on. Okay, then we screw this out. Yep, that's our stop. Then they got this one. It says step 1 and step 2. Up and 1. Again, just take some of this grease that came with it. Just throw a little bit on there for some lubrication. Now we screw this in there where it says option 1. Okay. And we tighten that up. Okay, so it stops. Make sure, and then we back it up. Back it up. Take it out. And flip it. Hopefully it worked. I hope it worked. Okay. I'm going to loosen up the 10mm nuts here. Loosen them up a long ways. This is good to have. We got ourselves a bubble. Yeah. That's how it is. That's how it works. Hopefully that's good enough. No, it should be. Okay, now we got our piece made. Now let's go back to here. There's going to be a lot of running around the frame and showing you guys stuff tonight. Let's see. I'd like to get this all in the frame here if possible. Okay. I think what we might do is just get the front brakes done tonight. I mean the line, at least ran to the T. Then I might call that a video, and then tomorrow we'll complete it. I don't know. I think it's going to get kind of late tonight. Okay. Now, this line has to run through here. So I want that there. Which one do I want to go with? Take that off there. Yeah, that pig is not going to apply to anything now anyway. I'm going to cut it anyway. Sometimes when I make these short bounds, I'll grab it with a vice grip like this, use my thumb. This is a trick that an old guy taught me. Them old guys, I tell you, they know what they're doing. It's nice when they're willing to give you some of their secrets. A little too far, I think. That might work. Okay, so now what's up with that thing? Just a little bit. Okay, she's being fussy. Make sure we put this out. Well, she's got it on there. Again, I want to make sure what is showing on there. Of course. I gotta get my black magic marker. Oh, okay. 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 Everything is always on the other side of the vehicle. Okay. So what do we want here? We want this to bend out. That'll work. Let's tear it apart now again. Oh, wait. I know you can't see it, but then I draw a line on the top of the line so I know. I'm so shaky tonight because I didn't eat till late. My blood sugar must be low. Oh no, you're good to me. But you won't. This. This. Okay. Come on, baby. You're good to me. Okay. Roll it straight down. Go here. Now this one can be hooked up either direction, you know, this way or this way. But that's gotta be like that though. Maybe I should just tighten that up right away. Oh, the. Yeah, maybe I should just tighten that up. I might as well, right? I need a. Oh, that's gonna suck. Yeah, it's gonna fit me perfectly. Perfect. Now. I wonder. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Never find a wrench that fits this. I can't remember what size that is. That was off the wall. Okay, I'm going to tighten this up in the vise. All I'm doing is tidying up the fitting in the vise, guys. Throwing some yellow tape on it and nothing to watch, I guess. I think, anyway. I do that. No watch. Guess I'm gonna be using the blue stuff tonight. I'm out of yellow, guys. That's the stuff you want to use, but I'll use the blue. Not like it's the end of the world. See, that's pipe thread. No, that should have maybe something on it, you know. I'd love to have the yellow stuff on it, but I'm just putting this stuff on it for so there's something on it. I'd prefer the yellow on there, but it's got something. If it leaks, I don't know why, but I don't think it will leak. I think we'll be just fine. We'll be just fine. Drop it back in the ground. I wonder man, I hate to do that, but God, you never get that out of there though. Once you put the body was on it, you'll never get that off. Yeah, no, I can't put it. I gotta put it right here. So, now what we use here is we got these rubber line clamps, and then they're aluminum. Then I use a self tapper with the rubber washer on there. It creates a nice tight seal on there, you know. They're pole barn self tappers. Now, the only problem that I have here, that sucker's got to be put behind this. And we got to take the master cylinder back off. Just mark it where it's got to be. put that sucker right here like this. We'll unscrew it here. Oh, I'm going to put a mark on that too. There it goes. Okay. That sucks. That sucks. I'm going to have a clamp behind this. I really didn't want that. But I'm trying to make this compact because the transmission takes up so much room here. So I have to do it the way I'm doing it. But if you gotta take the brake line off, chances are something's wrong with it anyway. So we'll just go with it. I tightened that up by hand, but I don't know. Okay, I hope I didn't break my drill just now. I knew I'd bump that off of there. I just knew I was gonna. And I did. I did. Okay. Pull that off there for now. Correct, so got the chair full of shit already. Now I gotta line up my marks. Get my drill that's way over there. I gotta come all the way over by the camera. Okay, we're still on. I think we're still good. All right. Put on there. Right there. Okay, now I gotta line up all of our marks. Right there. Golly. Look. Good to go here. Sometimes I'll just tap that with a hammer, you know. So I might tap that, but let's get the master back on. Wait, we gotta tap that quick. Now you gotta remember, you don't want to crush that brake line. Okay. Just give it a little love tap like that. There you go. There's resistance now. Okay, put the master back on now after screwing around. Okay. That looks perfect. Oh, come on now, little crap again. Look like that's going crooked. Okay, my back is saying hello from here. No, my cross-threading matters. Alright. Oh. Oh. Right. Yeah, no problem. It's just okay, now I want to make sure that that wheel is facing down so people can read that. If there's a problem, we'll tighten all this stuff up later. Just want to get it as close. Yeah, it's close enough. Because I always go through them all. Okay. Now, you can't probably see it. Our brake light switches here now. I'll have to grab it. maybe that. Now, I have to sit down for a minute. And we'll get we'll go for the next line. I want to get it out to here on this one. I want to get the portioning valve put in yet too tonight. Then tomorrow I just got to run the lines. Get through all this stuff we got to put on here. The portion valve too, that's got to in and out, so you got to make sure you get that right. See the directions on how to adjust them. Okay, we'll stick this off there. Suppose we can come to the vise and screw these in too again. You always got to make sure they go in there. Cross thread something, you just might be dead in the water. That seems right. That seems right. Down there. Okay, I'm going to go to the vise quick. Just put this in the vise so I can go tighten them up. I'll be right back, guys. Okay. I'm looking to see if I got some screws through this quick. No, don't see any. There, I tighten these up in the vise. Yeah. Okay. Okay, one says in, and the other one says out. So it's going to go like this. In, out. No, it's going to go just like this. No. Let's readjust that camera so you guys can see what's going on. Wow, gee, creepers. Everything's in my way. Okay, now what we gotta do here, no, I kicked it. We gotta plan out for the muffler. Now later on there'll be mufflers sitting here, but I think it's gonna be back further. I think we'll be just fine where we're at here. So let's trip over it. Okay, so what we gotta do now, we have to put another residual valve on, don't we? So we need this, which we already got set up. Now this one's gotta come across. This one can go up a little bit. And then I want it to sit kind of next to this one. So when you're underneath the car and if these fail you, you can get to them. I'm thinking if I'm laying under the car and the body's on it and all that. So it looks like we got to make another one, don't we? Well, then again, maybe not. I think we got one right here. We don't even have to make one for that. I like that. I'll see. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we want to go in on the residual valve. We're going to go in. Okay. And we want to lower it down. Oh God, that might be a little long. See if I can bend it a little further. Let's try this. Maybe 190. 190. Another close 90. Again. Too much. This in there. Okay. And then bring that up a little bit. got her real close here. How about I swap these two around? You know what? That's not going to make a big difference with that, huh? Oh, yeah, it did. Ooh, now it seems like it's too far out. I gotta watch that transmission room here. I really didn't want to go past this U. I wonder if I can bend that in by hand a little bit, maybe. Screw that a little tighter. Okay. Go that. That looks funky, but it's probably the right thing to do, though. Golly. Oh, how close is that to that transmission? Wish I knew right now. It's a little too close. My instinct tells me it's too close. Let's try this. And then let's go like that. Yeah, I like that. How about that? How's that? Looks good, doesn't it? And we'll just put some vibration material there. Actually, we'll keep it down a little bit, maybe. Man, I'm good at grabbing that. Snug that up a little bit. Kind of funky, but it'll work. I just don't know how close I am to the tranny right now. You know, with no transmission in here. So I'm just trying to keep it that way. Okay, now, next step. Portion drill. What shall we do here? That's going to be too short. This one probably be just right. Okay, so let's yeah, we're run the short one in here. And I'll look at this like this. I'll grab my black magic marker and I'll eye this out about where it's going to be. And right here is the bottom of the 90. So I know. No, we got that plate though, don't we? I forgot to add that in there. Yep. So it's at the starting of the TIG, bottom of the 90. Okay. Done this one again by hand. Oh, there we go. Get that in there. I went too far, didn't I? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Now again, you might notice the residual valves are as high as these fittings. So now this little bit of fluid that's in these lines right here before the residual valves, it's not going to drain back. So now when you step on the brakes, they should be firm right away. This little bit right here will make a difference. Okay, so I've got the transmission in there. Now, on here, there's an in and an out. Okay, so in means in from master cylinder, and out means the fluid goes out. Geez, I think that's going to work just absolutely gorgeous. I can bend this up a little bit to accommodate for it. We gotta make sure it's lower than the body. We gotta make sure we can use 2 screws. Here we'll put a clamp, and we'll have it fastened here. And this residual valve is still lower than the top of the reservoir, so we're still good. Because it's gonna be right about here is the line. So yeah, so we're good. Okay, I need to find some self-tappers for this. And then this might be end of video 1. There's going to be more videos on this, running the lines to the back and running the lines to the front tomorrow morning. It's getting kind of late, and I wanted to get it this far, so it's actually looking pretty good. Looks like that'll work. Wish it was bigger though. But that'll do it though. What about these? had to take those washers off here, but now I got about 3/16 of thread there. I think we can survive that. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, got that figured out. These back up here, okay, you gotta look for some fresh ones. Some fresh ones. Okay. Man, I get to take those washers off of there, but son of a gun, I can't run them, because I don't have no screws. But these go in 3/16. Well, that's the thickness of the metal, so it's perfect actually, man. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Take that and set that up here. This. There. All right. Here goes nothing. Parallel to the frame. Pretty good though. Okay. Now, we have one more clamp to put on. I want to put a clamp here yet. So I don't want this vibrating down the highway. I got a clamp here, and it's mounted here, you could see. But this ain't mounted from here to here. So I want to put a clamp right here. I think would be a good spot for one. It's fitting there nicely. Okay. Clamp here. Give this a little bit of a love tap here. The 1/4 inch. Nobody had. That might be too much. I don't know. That didn't get work. Okay. Now, where do we want this? Away from that bolt. That's the transmission cross member mount bolt. But make sure I get wrenches and stuff on there. If I'm underneath the car, trying to take this brake line off. I think it's better off putting it off one thing. So you kind of see it and stuff. And on the offside. Okay, I need a new battery. I'll be right back. Oh, I wonder if we can get you in closer. Oh, that's too far out, ain't it? Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I gotta get the battery. All right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. We're going between two pieces there, 3/16, I believe. Yeah. Okay. What is it? No, I ain't gonna tighten nothing up. Some of it's tightened up, but I'll go through everything. When I get this thing all built, I go through it all to make sure. I don't sit there and think, oh, maybe I should tighten that up. No, I go through to everything, make sure it's tight. So, anyway, should have put something over that end and that end. Make sure nothing goes in there. What do I got here? Okay, then this will get a clamp up here somewhere. Yeah, well, let's take it for a tour and then we're going to call it a night. Long enough video anyway, the way it is. I think it's long enough video. Wow, just about 2 hours. 1 hour and 49 minutes and a half. Right. So now what we're going to do, actually I want to kind of get you guys the best picture I can. Okay, so you got to remember this master cylinder is mounted backwards, or this thing you'd flip it around if it was mounted on the firewall. So the front port, which would be on the firewall, this is the front port. It goes this way. It's got the 2 PSI residual valve, and there's an in and out on there. I got wheel wood and everything facing downward, so if you're laying underneath the car, because later on the body will be on here. So that's 2 PSI, so it'll allow all the pressure to come back, except for 2 PSI, so it keeps the line full and primed, ready to go. My brother said primed. Well, that's a good term. So now I got it up to the, right here's the brake light switch. This arm here goes up and down, so that's not going to be in the way. And then I'll resume that line, that'll go ahead, and then it's got to go under a little bit, because the exhaust right here. And then it's going to go along the cross member to a T right here in the middle. Then one line goes to that wheel, and one line goes to this wheel. Okay, so we'll put this in tomorrow. I'll film that too. That takes care of the front brakes. Now, remember now, this thing was turned around. This would have been the rear brakes. So now that goes to a 10 PSI because we have drums back there. So that goes to 10 PSI residual valve. And remember, the residual valves are the same height as the fittings here. So that way this fluid here can't go back in that reservoir. So now this is holding, since it's a 10 PSI, that's holding 10 pounds of pressure in the line, so it's got fluid, it's holding the fluid back. Then this is level, so none of this fluid's running in there. So now you got 10 PSI, and then the proportioning valve is going to regulate how much pressure gets to the brakes when you step on them. Okay, so now tomorrow I'll run a line going along the frame rail, and then it'll go back to that hose right there. And then I got to run lines across the rear ends to the wheel cylinders. So we'll do that all tomorrow. So this is a big heavy presence done here. 2 residual valves, brake proportioning valve, brake light switch, all of that we just got in. And then we'll run through it all and we'll tighten it up. And we could actually bleed the brakes. This thing could have brakes, but I can't put the brake push rod in yet because I don't have the dust boot that my brother ordered. Should be here anytime. And I got to keep this down because the body's got to go on. So I'll probably be putting that together when the body's on it. But at least we'll have all lines in. And then I got the fuel line here that's going to run on this side. 3/8 fuel line. So I'll put that in tomorrow. We'll do the video on that. And then we're ready to set the body on. So we're good. So that would be a nice feeling. So anyway guys, please like and subscribe. And this is video number 1 of how to install your brakes in your Streetrod. And I'll do a video on that push rod and all that stuff. That's another thing that I'll have to point out. I've had a phone call on guy's front brakes were blocking up on him, and I told him why, and then he fixed it after I told him why. But anyway, and I'll show you guys what the problem is so you guys can avoid that. But we'll cross that road when we get there. But yeah, please like and subscribe, guys, and take care, and we'll see you on the next video. Please like and subscribe, guys. I sure would appreciate it. I thank you when you do. I really do. And love to you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.